fast. Gosh, just hold the paper before I was even able to finish a thing. But they're ready. They're going to give us the observation, the critique, and then share with us the points. So I am going to have to find a seat somewhere. I don't know if I should sit in front or I should behind the subject. I don't know, because after this, it's one of two things. I'm either going to be able to come back on this microphone, or I'm out of here. So that's what we're going to do. So, Sister Dana, James? Sure. Okay. Okay, let's put our hands together for the judges tonight. We had, as I mentioned before, we had Sister Bonnie Smith, we had Sister Dana James, and Sister Lois Drew. Sister Dana James is going to come and give us the scores.
Thank you, Pastor Davis. A pleasant good evening for everyone. I speak on behalf of the judges, and I'm so happy we got our round of applause at the beginning of this presentation. You can reserve all your applause for the winner. Alright, I believe it was an evening well spent, and we certainly appreciated all the churches and the individual participants. So I'm going to invite us just to give them all a round of applause for the efforts that they made. Just a few brief comments on behalf of the judges. In terms of audibility and clarity, we found that the churches with larger numbers or large representation, meaning they had more persons, they were able to garner more points in this particular segment or this aspect of the criteria, whereas churches where we had fewer members participating, it was a little difficult for them to really get as many points as they might have liked for audibility and clarity. So that is one comment. We were looking at, in one presentation we had only 6 participants, and in another one we had as many as 15. So that is something to look at. We look at unity. Now of course we know the script, 7 verses, and we are basically looking to ensure that each person who was presenting knew the script word for word. So we really tried to look at the faces, the mouths, to see persons were mumbling or fumbling. And at certain times we did have a bit of that. There was also, I don't want to say a disruption, but it was somewhat of a distraction where you had, in terms of difference in age, where you had adults and then very small children, and sometimes the children got a little lost and took away from the overall presentation. So it might have been the team was trying to communicate something serious, and that small person was not able to hold that particular emotion or portray that particular quality at that time. And so unity, that team might have scored a bit low. So we're basically looking for uniformity from the very beginning, and we really liked those that made in terms of the presentation, the person who introduced the team or the way that they came onto the stage that grabbed your attention, we thought that was very commendable, and most teams really did that. And so they had you at a point where they're ready to begin, and then you wait for them to begin and take in everything that they had to offer. Interpretation, because it was such a well-known passage, it means that the teams would have to come with something out of the box, because we basically all know Ecclesiastes 12. So if it was just the same monotone sing-song, you know, you're not going to really score a lot. So you had to come with something original, something creative, because we've heard it all ready. And I think most of the teams did try to think outside the box, did try to keep us, keep our attention with different formation and using the voices, the slowing down the pace, even some repetition and so on. But the judges would want me to remind you that do not overdo with the repetition, right? There must be some meaning behind of it, something that you want to achieve, not just repeating for repeating sake. Enunciation. Here we're looking for just a little bit more than the pronunciation of the word. Also, if there were S's that you wanted or any blends or just to emphasize particular words. I think most teams made an effort to do that. Posture. Well, that had to do with the numbers, again, in terms of how large the group was. Sometimes we could not see those who were a little behind. So there was a bit of a difficulty there, I think. Where you had a small group where they formed a semicircle, it was easy to really see what was happening with the whole group all the time. Facial expressions, quite good. I know we had a few laughs with the trembles and the evil. Those were pretty good. Gestures, a bit overused with the hands. So we just want to advise the teams to watch that particular aspect. But overall, I think that all the teams did a very good job. And I'm just going to go now to the scores. We've been advised to go from 5th place all the way up to 1st. In 5th place, with a total of 65 points, we have Bethesda. Please give them a round of applause. In 4th place, with 67 points, Seaview Farm. We're down to the big 3 now. In 3rd place, with a total of 72 points, Bendels. This one is the hardest part, as you would imagine. I heard persons in the congregation calling with me as I was going along. Would anybody care to call number 2? Pastor Davis would agree that the judge's decision is final. Wonderful people. In 2nd place, with 85 points, when I call the person in number 2, you're automatically going to know who is in number 1, right?
Okay, I'm ready with the suspense.
So in 2nd place with a total of 85 points and only 2 points separate positions number 1 and number 2, Freeman's Hill.
Here's what we're going to do, because you know that I personally have an advice. 2 points difference. And so we're going to invite Freemans to come back again and make their presentation, and after that we're going to have North Street to come back and make their presentation.